Something a little bit different this week. I've decided I'm just going to talk. Had a guest have to reschedule, so I didn't want to come up empty-handed for another week. Sorry that I've missed a few in November. I've just had a lot of stuff going on a personal front and honestly been a bit slack and probably need a bit of a kick up the arse to get back to it and make sure I'm putting an episode out every week. I've not really had any guests in the can, so it's pretty much record each week, put that episode out each week. And there's been a few where I haven't been able to do the interview and then haven't had the episode and then I haven't put anything out. So I will endeavor to ensure I'm bringing an awesome guest interview to you each week. I am human. I'm not perfect. I can be better. So I will be. I've had some big things happening for me on a personal front lately. I was a finalist at the Australian of the Year Awards for South Australia in the local hero category. So that was a really cool experience to get to be part of that. Pretty much my boss from my job at the South Australia Health and Medical Research Institute, Pete, he nominated me without telling me. And then those nominations got whittled down to a top 10. And then a judging panel selected a top 4 for each category. And all of those people got to go to the awards ceremony with their family and friends. And that was really cool. It was awesome to be in the room with other people doing really amazing things for the community. I'd say that's the coolest part about it is just seeing all the effort that other people are making. And I think when you're doing something, especially as a volunteer or it's just something that's a passion project, there's a whole lot of work done, gladly done in silence behind the scenes. For this podcast in particular, a huge amount of video editing and sourcing and thinking and preparing and obviously recording and putting my mind to it and sort of putting my blood, sweat and tears into it. So it's just something that I do, that I'm privileged to do, that I'll hopefully keep on doing for a long time to come yet. And I don't really think about it necessarily as being this huge ongoing effort, and certainly not a chore. And in the same vein, I don't do it because I'm looking for recognition for running the podcast, but it is really touching when I do get that recognition and being able to go to that award ceremony and have my name called out and a bit about the podcast and why I started it and what it's doing in the community, and get to shake the governor's hand and get my finalist certificate. That was a really cool experience. And it was really nice to be able to go with mum and dad and my now wife, Mary, my wife. We got married in October. And that was a huge deal this year. It's taken up a lot of mental space and been very exciting. And it all went perfectly. Lots of people there that we love and who love us and were able to share in that really beautiful day with us, which we'll never forget. For me, it was being able to stand up there at the altar with Mary and just feel so fulfilled and so fortunate to have found someone like her who just gets me to the nth degree, who I am just so overjoyed to be able to spend my life with, and to have a life partner like her who I can count on, and I'm privileged enough to get to love and to get to know better all the time and share all the experiences of life with. I think the older you get, particularly being as lucky as me and finding someone like that, the more you realize that lots of people don't find that, and see just how tough that can be down the road, or how desperately people are hoping to find a love like that. And it just struck me on the day that not only am I so fortunate to have found that person and to have the opportunity to live up to being the kind of man that she expects me to be and that I expect myself to be, in the best version of me. I was up there just smiling like an idiot, and that was appropriate because Mary's vows were talking about how big my smile is. And so I was just smiling like a goof the whole time. I didn't feel particularly nervous. I was really excited. I understood the enormity of the moment, but there wasn't any part of me that was nervous about marrying Mary and signing up to doing life together, because I've never been more sure of anything in my life. And that's a really beautiful thing, something that the younger me didn't think he would necessarily ever experience. I feel like it's already made me step up as a man. I think I was putting in a pretty good effort with the relationship before, but I reckon it just adds that layer of maturity and it's that extra responsibility, which I really welcome at this point in my life. And big life goals for me are to be the best husband and hopefully the best father that I can be. And in order to do that, I have to really look after myself, make sure that I'm still growing, make sure I'm nourishing my mind and my body, really stay on top of everything to make me as good as I can be so that I can be that best version of myself for my wife and for my future child. And that's really my North Star at this point. I'm really looking forward to hopefully being a dad in a not too distant future. I love the idea of caring more about raising a child and caring a bit less about me and what I want all the time. The last, well, my whole life has been pretty me focused, less so a bit, I suppose, in my 30s now. But yeah, before you have children, it's really you wake up and you think about yourself and what you're doing that day. And I like the idea of waking up and thinking about my child first thing and last thing before I go to bed. I think I would make a pretty good dad. Some people have said that. I'm certainly keen to find out. I'm sure it's incredibly challenging, but I'm certain that I've chosen the right woman and she's chosen me for that, which is a really good feeling. And she's going to be an incredible mother. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her shining as a mother because I know she's just going to be an incredible one. So hopefully that's going to happen for us in the not too distant future. I'm aware I'm in a liminal space right now, which means in the in between. So I feel like my 20s are over. I know who I am now. I'm pretty well established. I'm looking for a new challenge and a new journey and to grow into that next stage of manhood, which I think is going to come from being a dad, but I'm not there yet. So I'm kind of in this limbo. So while I'm in that space right now, I'm just trying to relish it and enjoy it as much as I can because I know it's fleeting and it's going to be gone. And then when I am a dad, I'm going to look back and wonder where all my free time went and wish that I had a couple of hours to just play PlayStation in silence and not have to think about my child and what I have to do next and changing nappies and all the things that come with that. And I know that definitely is going to happen because mates of mine who've had kids all say, bro, I used to have so much time and now I just have none. So I'm excited to get to that point, but I'm also aware that where life's at right now is awesome and I need to just enjoy it. It's really motivating for me to want to get in the best physical shape of my life before becoming a dad because I know when that happens, there's going to be more responsibilities and priorities are going to change and it's going to make it more difficult to do that. Certainly not impossible. Certainly I have to carry over a lot of the behaviors that have allowed me to find success with that. But this year I've had that time and energy to really dedicate to that goal. I've always trained. I've never had a problem being motivated to go and do exercise because I love being in the gym. But there are a lot of years there where I just lifted weights pretty much every day with no real clear goal or set plan and nowhere near enough focus on diet and recovery and sometimes lifting weights 14 days in a row, just getting weaker and more exhausted and never really bothering to understand the impact on the body and what you actually need to grow and recover and tracking your calories and macros and understanding that whole part of it and then being really disciplined and really dialed in to make it all come together. And that's been a cool journey to learn about that and learn about my body in that level of detail and see the results. If you watch the podcast a lot, you might see the difference in my face. Back in May, I was about 100 kilos because I did a dreamer bulk, which I'll never do again, where I was basically trying to put on as much muscle as possible for about a year and took it way too far and just ate everything I wanted, thinking that it was advantageous and that I was putting on more muscle by doing that. But really, I just put on way too much fat. And so I've then had to do a huge cut to get that fat off again, which has been a monumental effort. And I certainly won't be doing any kind of bulking like that ever again. I just want to be fit and healthy and lean and feel good and be at the set point where my body's supposed to be. So yeah, it got to May, I was around 100. And since that time, I've managed to lose 70% of my body fat and retain all my muscle. So that's been pretty epic. I'm really proud of myself for achieving that. It's taken a lot of dedication and a lot of learning and just a lot of willpower to be able to get to that point. And I'm certainly feeling a lot happier in my body. Such a big difference in my capacity to be sharp and operate and really function the way I want to function and offer what I want to offer the world by being dialed in on all that. And I'm going to carry those habits over for the rest of my life because although it might seem limiting and restrictive from the outside looking in, I think there's a lot of truth to that quote that discipline equals freedom. I've certainly experienced that myself, and just really important to have that level of self-respect personally, and then to be just doing all the right things for my brain and for my body. Yeah, the proof's really in the pudding. I've managed to teach myself. So I think I'll be able to hang on to that now. And that's going to set me in really good stead to be as healthy and happy as I can possibly be and live a good life, which is the goal. As far as the future of the podcast is concerned, I've got no plans of slowing down in 2026. I'm still really enjoying bringing you the show. I do get feedback from people that they're still getting value out of it, which of course is the point. And there's a world of stories out there to tell. That's the good thing about hosting a mental health podcast. You never run out of stories, and always humbled and privileged that so many people want to share their deeply personal stories with me and with the world and trust me to, and the platform to be a vehicle to help them do that. It's addictive in itself, being able to be part of that and have people that don't know you put that faith in you and then see the reaction when people who care about them really value it and they do as well. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing unlike anything else I've experienced. So that's enough motivation for me to keep it going and keep doing all this work, because it does feel like work, but it is truly worth it. And I think that's something that most of us are looking for in this world. And I've found it in this podcast. So I will keep going. One thing I am thinking about, and I'm not sure if I'll do this or not, be interested to know what you think, is I might open the show up to some older men. So it's not just young guys under 40, but also men in the middle age and potentially even some elderly men to reflect on their younger days and just offer a different perspective again. That could be a nice way for the show to grow and mature. And I'm thinking about that because I started this when I was 25. Now I'm 32. I'm getting older. I'm growing along with the show. I've got new things happening in my life and things that I'm thinking about. And therefore, some of the topics and what I want to talk about and cover and what I think's relevant is going to continue to mature along with me. So that might be a way of doing that. What have I learned lately? I think for me that peace of mind is really worth protecting. Nothing compares to having peace of mind and having peace in your mind and peace in your heart and peace in your home, and that you and your actions and your choices go a long way towards whether or not you have that. And if you have it, you can very easily lose it by doing the wrong thing. And there's nothing as valuable as having that peace of mind and that equilibrium. And if you're lucky to have someone to share a home with that helps you with that, and I'm blessed to have that, but I have to consistently put the work in and make sure that it stays that way, make sure I'm doing everything I need to do to look after myself and others and not get complacent and not be naive. But I think more evidence that for me, life's really about friends and family and health. I keep coming back to that. That's really when I feel content and I have moments of realizing what really matters to me. It's when I'm in the presence of people that I love, or I feel really good after a workout, or I kick some goals at work because my brain's firing because I'm looking after myself. And then, you go out and have a few wines and feel absolutely horrendous the next day and realize it's just really not worth it for me at this ripe old age of 32. That version of myself that is high energy, well rested, open hearted, deep thinking, engaged, focused, and with that, content and satisfied and happy. That is so worth having for me. And I'm the one in control of whether or not I feel that way. And that if I don't look after myself how I need to look after myself, I can't be him. I can't be that guy who does it all and feels good doing it. I'm a much lesser shell of myself. And now I really know it when I feel that way. And I know what leads to me feeling that way versus if I'm locked in, I'm doing everything I need to do. And then I love the version of myself that I am capable of being. So anyway, that's probably enough of me rambling. If you've made it this far, I'm truly impressed at your loyalty and dedication to this podcast. I might only be talking to my dad at this point. I didn't have a plan for this episode. I just wanted to touch base and give you some insight into what's been going on with me lately, because it's been a lot, and the status of the podcast. And I'm sure you probably would have preferred a guest interview, and I would have preferred to do one as well. We'll get back onto that ASAP. I'll have a guest interview next week. I promise. Till then, look after yourself and do whatever you need to do to be the best version of you. Catch you next time.